watching the Western Athletic Conference on ESPN. Our ESPN tip-off week continues at Moody Coliseum in Abilene, Texas. Tremendous women's action tonight. It's the Owls of Rice and the Wildcats of Abilene Christian. And now welcome courtside, everybody. Zach Carlisle with Chris Jarrett, Daisy Strine coming up as well. We got a couple of 1-0 teams here. Rice looked tremendous in their opening win over Houston Christian. Abilene Christian 1-0 after a win over SWAGU Monday.
Yeah, both these teams, Zach, looking really good. And these are two really talented mid-major programs in really good conferences. So for Abilene Christian, looking to keep that home magic going, and for Rice, a pretty tough road test.
Yeah, can't wait to watch this one. Let's take a look at our impact players. A couple of number ones, Aspen Thornton and Malia Fisher.
Yeah, and Aspen Thornton now, Zach, she's in that spot. She's the lead guard of this team after losing Maddie Miller names to graduation. Now it's Aspen Thornton bringing the ball down the floor, and a really good forward matchup that's on the other end of the floor tonight with Malia Fisher.
Can't wait to watch this thing unfold between Rice and Abilene Christian. They played last year as well. Let's talk more history and say hello to Daisy Stride.
Thanks, guys. This is only the second matchup in history for ACU and Rice women's basketball, but it is their first time playing here in Abilene, Texas at Moody Coliseum. Playing here in Moody at home has proven to serve the Wildcats well in past seasons, and certainly did so this past Monday as they secured the first win of the season, 77-52. Rice is also coming into this game with one win under their belt, but it is their first time playing on the road this season. It should be a great game here tonight. Guys, back to you.
They're about to introduce the Abilene Christian starters. Here we go. The starting lineups for Abilene Christian, and we get ready to go. Rice and ACU. And Chris, we're looking forward to this one. These are two really good mid-major teams.
Yeah, really good. And you've got a team, Zach, and Rice, that this is their first season moving from Conference USA to the American Athletic Conference. Their first conference switch since 2005, and taking on an Abilene Christian team that they play really good basketball inside Moody Coliseum, and they've got a tough opponent, a big opponent to do that against tonight.
In their third year in the WAC, so some new blood for both of these teams this season. Daisy alluded to it. They played last year for the first time ever in Houston. The home and home returns to Abilene here on this Thursday night. We'll talk about a switch to the ACU lineup in just a moment. Both teams 1-0. As we open up the 23-24 college basketball season, this opening week continues. Glad you're with us. Rice controls the opening tap. Off we go. So look at the starting lineup. No Addison Martin tonight for ACU. Insert Brooke Jessen into the post, number 32. She will defend this Rice starter. There's Malia Fisher right away. We talked about her. She's a part of this lineup with Klazak, Jackson, Gooden, and Hayes.
Yeah, and Zach, you see on the opening possession right there, they go right inside to Hayes, draws the double team, and our impact player, Malia Fisher, just knifing right down the paint for an easy two.
With no Martin, I'll be curious to see how ACU attacks at this end of the floor. Thornton looks inside. It's Kennedy rising. And now Jessen making her first start as a Wildcat in her second season. 2 to shoot it for ACU. Thornton's got to get it off. I don't think she did. It's a shot clock violation. Lindsay Edmonds third year with Rice, a chance at a third winning season. She could be the first Rice coach ever to do such.
And look at what they've been able to do, especially last year with the record they had, raced out to a 9-0 start. And since she's taken over, she says she's found excitement coming into this third year with products that are her own, that she's been able to recruit.
She inherited a championship team that all transferred away, and she had to rebuild it. And boy, has she done so in a wonderful way. Jackson no good on the three. It'll stay at this end. And on the other side, Julie Goodenough in her 12th year with Abilene Christian. 15-15 a year ago. They try to get back on that stretch. She has never had a losing season in her time at ACU. Baseline jumper, Trinity Gooden. 4-0 Rice right out of the gate.
And just a nice little knockdown on a trip that stayed on this end of the floor, and then we're seeing Rice now, Zach, playing full, just a little bit of a half pressure on defense.
Rising will take the three. Good start for the Highland Community College transfer. That may be the equalizer tonight. You and I talked about it. ACU is going to have to shoot it well from the outside.
Yes, sir. I think that with the size disadvantage where ACU stands with how physical Rice wants to try and play it inside, they're going to have to try and knock down some shots on the outside.
Shelby Hayes traveled with it. Fired up Abilene Christian bench. Here's the travel. Hayes walked with it, the sophomore out of Cedar Park, Texas, and now ACU having a hard time getting it inbounded.
Yeah, and that's what's tough is when you create, maybe not a create, but you get the turnover and then you give it right back to Rice.
And it will go to the Owls. And Fisher will inbound in the corner. Here comes Klazak. Emily Klazak. Dynamic finish, 5'8", the junior guard out of Illinois. Thornton in her second season with ACU. A jump ball, and the arrow will stay with Abilene Christian. Possession to go. It was a three from Kennedy Rising.
Yeah, and this is, as of right now, just an open shot. I'll pull this, and for Rising, Zach, that's huge. No shots knocked down against SAGU on the game on Monday, so if you can get that going, that's going to be a big plus.
Yeah, her lone point was a free throw, and now, coming the other direction and laying it in is Jackson. Lindsay Edmonds told us they want to get up and go. This is a fast-paced Rice team. Abilene Christian wants to do the same.
And it's easy too when on an inbound pass it goes long and then now you've got to race into the front court.
Foul at this end on Emily Klazak. First foul of the night. Aspen Thornton drew it, and Thornton in her second year, you mentioned it as our impact player, they have to see her take that growth to the next step this season.
Yeah, the all-WAC newcomer. The transfer from Wauketa Baptist, so trying to generate that good guard play.
Jessen goes to work, turns around, couldn't finish it on Hayes. With no Martin tonight, out with a concussion, how does the interior game work for the Wildcats? That's a big question. Gooden. Look at the extra pass. Jackson trying to finish it, no good. Tapped around, it's loose. And Fisher goes and gets it. Boy, Hayes is working hard on the post. Nearly tapped away, who touched it? It's gonna go out of bounds and it'll be ACU ball.
A long trip on that end of the floor, and ACU a couple of different times had to adjust, reset on defense, and really good prioritizing the baseline, taking it away from Fisher, Zach, forcing the bailout pass, and you'll take a turnover. That's a great defensive trip.
Subs in for Abilene Christian. Peyton Hull, the tremendous freshman talent. Number 10 out there in white. Here's Jessen, who can stretch the defense from the 5 spot. The 3 no good. Fisher goes and tracks it down.
You can see how tough rebounds are going to be to come by for Abilene Christian tonight. If you get a good shot, you've got to secure a loose ball.
Gooden into Hayes. That's no good. And a foul at this end on the rebound.
Everything is physical right now, and that's a credit to Rice. They've come out with just a little bit of an edge. Everything's one-on-one. That's a nice slip pass inside to Hayes, trying to get her going. But you got to credit ACU for just kind of on their heels, able to play some defense inside.
Already a much better start for Abilene Christian against Rice than what Rice did to Houston Christian on Monday. They held the Huskies to 1 point in the first quarter. Had a tremendous defensive effort. And that ball is taken, and here come the Owls. Lindsay Edmonds said her defense is already night and day better this year than it was a year ago. Hayes is fouled.
And it's just then where you come in, you enter, and you lightly touched on it, Zach, as we get another good look at this inside. I like the play from Thornton coming crashing in and getting a piece of it. Nothing easy inside. But this is a Rice team that when she took over, she was expecting to roll back a championship squad, and 4 of the 5 starters due to come back, they all leave. And so now she has to completely reconfigure things as a staff, and in her first season nonetheless. And she's done a tremendous job now entering year 3.
Shelby Hayes, sophomore out of Cedar Park, Texas. 23 games played a year ago, made just 1 start as a freshman. And now one of the focal points for the interior game for the Owls. That ball poked free, tapped away. 4th Wildcat turnover this opening quarter. Extra pass, Gooden fakes it, rises and fires, and she's fouled. I think they got Thornton on the arm. 2 free throws coming up.
Right on the elbow. And just good ball movement. When you've got those defenders closing in, keeping them off balance. And a tip of the cap to Trinity Gooden for keeping the defender off balance and then shortening her shot.
Gooden, a junior out of Oklahoma. She started the final 10 games a year ago for Rice and really made an impact as this team was tremendous. 23 wins a year ago. Kind of solidified herself as a starter, and she's in the thick of things this year as well. Takes a seat for the Owls.
I think it speaks to itself. They join the AAC, and Lindsay Edmonds says we noted immediately, a little bigger, faster, stronger, more athletic. And Zach, they're tapped to finish 3rd in the preseason rankings behind East Carolina and South Florida. So already getting the recognition, joining a new conference.
Gracie Wernley, 22, the freshman out of Oklahoma, into the game for ACU, and she's on the attack right away. No good. Out of bounds it goes, and we go to our first timeout of the game. Rice off to a tremendous start. They're on a 7-0 run and lead at 11-3.
The hunger to win is fueled by a chance to compete and the thrill of the action. The cheers from the crowd energize our team and push them on to victory. Whether it's the pre-game excitement of tailgating or the post-game euphoria of winning celebrations, United Supermarkets always brings an A-game to your party. From kickoff to tip-off and the final buzzer to the last out, United Supermarkets is proud to feed the competitive spirit.
Welcome home, Wildcats. Moody Coliseum, the longtime home of ACU basketball, is back. This is the premier ACU Wildcat offense.
Look at that gem.
getting as much knowledge as possible was important to me. I love the fact that you can dream a new reality and then see it come true with hard work. Today, I know I'm making a difference, and a big part of seeing my dream come true was when I got my master's at ACU.
Get your undergraduate or graduate degree online at Abilene Christian.
Back in Moody Coliseum, it's Rice in front, 11-3 over ACU. Chris, time for the keys to the game.
And we've already looked at these a little bit, Zach. So with Rice, you can see how they want to get out and run the floor and turn defense to offense. We talked to Lindsay Edmonds. She says she wants to see her team play 4 full quarters and play really good basketball. They felt like maybe they let Houston Christian off the leash a little bit in the fourth quarter, gave up 21 points in that final frame. And then for Abilene Christian, if the size advantage for Rice inside is as big as we think it's going to be, you got to knock down some outside shots and then get back. If you don't get that rebound, they have to transition back and get into their rotations on D.
On the offensive side for ACUs, they'll have possession, a scoring drought of 3 minutes and 43 seconds as they try to end that. They've missed each of their last 4 from the field. And they've had a little bit of a turnover issue, 4 of them early here. And now it's Aspen Thornton, and she'll drive and get fouled. That's how you change that, try to get to the foul line a bit.
Absolutely, and with Abilene Christian, everything has been tough on offense with Rice playing just lockdown, body-on-body basketball, not stretching into a zone or nothing like that, just playing everything outside the perimeter and really close. So how do you counter that? You get to the stripe.
However, this was a problem spot as Thornton is no good on the first one. ACU 50% Monday night, 15 of 30.
69% last season after a full slate, so you got to try and cash in.
Thornton missed both of them. Now it's tapped around, and that's going to be a really unfortunate foul on Destiny Jackson.
And this started from just hustle after the loose shot on this end by Brooke Jessen, just fighting in there, getting a hand, jarring it free, and then you pick up a foul to boot.
Emma Troxel just got there first, and the unfortunate contact. Troxel, number 24 for ACU, another talented freshman out of Bushland, Texas. Where does the offense come from for Abilene Christian? Try to answer those questions, especially with no Addison Martin again. She's out with a concussion tonight. Driving Gracie Wernley draws the foul. Lezak charged with a personal.
And they might, it looks like already starting to call a little bit more of the contact that we're seeing. We're in the first half of the first quarter. Definitely saw a lot of physical on-ball defense.
You see Lindsay Edmonds over here on the sideline talking with the officials to discuss how it will be called tonight as Wernley hits ACU's first free throw of the night. Almost 1,500 points in her high school career at Bixby High School. Her and Meredith Mays, number 14, who you'll see at some point tonight as well, both from the same high school, come to ACU together. Jazzy Owens-Barnett, the backup point guard, running the show. This possession, Maya Buchanevich, 14 into the game as well. But it usually starts and ends with Malia Fisher. She draws a foul.
And Thornton was in good position, just came over a little too hot, bumped Fisher on the hip, and just kind of jarred her off balance. Zach, one thing we're seeing is a lot of bodies rotating in and out, and fortunately for both of these teams, we're in November. This is not a win-or-go-home game, so we're talking about keys to win the game, but both of these coaches can still explore in a non-conference game what works, what doesn't work, and let's see what everybody's got to bring to the table here.
Rise and fire, no good from Owens-Barnett. Rebound to Claire Traeger, 21 into the game. The grad transfer for Abilene Christian, who came off the bench and scored 7 on Monday night.
It's just a really good drive by Traeger, starting on the opposite wing and takes it all the way around, takes a big final step going to the rim and draws some contact. Again, these one-on-one matchups, if the Wildcats can draw some contact and get to the free throw line, that's where they can really stand to try and find some rhythm and generate some rhythm on offense.
Experience right here for Traeger, for head coach Julie Goodenough. 97th career game she's playing tonight, 95 of them in her 4-year career at Binghamton. Fisher drives. Buchanevich, it's a 3, cashes it in. The first triple for the Owls tonight.
And look at Fisher bringing the ball all the way down the floor too. Lindsay Edmonds said that she's really honed in on her guard-like abilities, trying to get her more out of that 4 spot and let her run the floor a little bit. Had to deal with some pressure up the floor and picks up an assist.
Traeger back to work, spinning and scoring, and fired up.
That's nice. That's wearing contact on your hip and able to finish. And they bring Claire Traeger in from Binghamton, bring her in as a grad student as well, and she slides right into this rotation.
That's a savvy veteran move right there. That's someone who's been around and seen it all. Dominique Ennis picked up her dribble. A dozen to shoot it for Buchanevich. Ennis will launch it. It's a foul. Where is that foul? It's on the floor, off the ball.
Just battling inside. It looked like Traeger, maybe that was the 3 that we just saw get knocked down, but you are seeing how physical it is inside.
Into Fisher. Plenty of room, just couldn't knock it down. Bella Earl with the rebound.
Able to get out of it. Maybe you're seeing right there Fisher expecting some contact, didn't get any.
Zoe Jackson, 13, running the point. Traeger's been a big part of the offense the last 2 trips. Nothing that time. Watch 33 inside. Fatou Sam can knock it down. That is Dominique Ennis, the sophomore out of Ontario.
Does that last name ring any bells for you?
Yeah, no kidding. I was just thinking that. Doing the research, I'm thinking, wait, who's her siblings again? Those names sound familiar. The likes of Tyler Ennis and Dylan Ennis. Buchanevich looking for her second 3. Sam can be so good in the paint. ACU may not have an answer for that one. Timeout. Julie Goodenough and Abilene Christian. Fatou Sam, the Cal transfer in her 2nd year, able to score it.
Just looked like she was, just able to win down the rebound, and that's where the size that we're going to see. So just off of a miss, able to win the one-on-one inside and beat the box out and finish.
So there's Fatou Sam into the paint. The timeout was called by head coach Julie Goodenough. Let's talk more. Julie Goodenough, send it over to Daisy Strine.
Coach Julie Goodenough's 839th career game. She has earned 504 career victories, including 215 as the head coach at ACU. Goodenough is in her 30th season of coaching overall and with her 12th season with the Wildcats. She has continued to lead this team with excellence and has built great bonds with the players and coaching staff along the way. We hope to hear from her at halftime. Guys, back to you.
Daisy, thank you. Yeah, and one of the rare coaches that has achieved the feat of conference champion at the NAIA, D3, D2, and D1 levels. She's done it all. Conference champion in 2019 with Abilene Christian. They made their first ever appearance in the NCAA Division I tournament. On a drive, Wernley, that's no good. Powerful rebound from Owens Barnett. Buchanevich lines one up. 1 for 3 from downtown.
She knocked that first one in, and I thought maybe the second one a little bit of a heat check, but they're not bad misses. She's pretty close.
Bella Earl underneath, scoops it up and in.
It's a talented junior class for this ACU team, sitting with 5 juniors, and it's where they're going to get a lot of their experience, and then a couple of transfers that have come into the program as well.
56th career game for Earl tonight. Baseline jumper no good from Owens Barnett. Earl with the rebound. 19 games a year ago with 5 or more rebounds. Now she gets the layup and it's no good. What a find from Jackson. It's out of bounds. Whose ball? It's going to go to the Owls. Here's Earl's make from a couple of possessions ago.
You can see frustrated with herself because that was such a nice find from Jackson. And then that one right there, a little off balance, but still able to finish inside.
We talked about the shooting, Chris. ACU 3 for 10 here in this opening quarter from the floor. 5-second difference between game and shot clock. Buchanevich. Owens Barnett, double clutch, got it. Rice doubling up Abilene Christian here in the first quarter. 3 seconds. Jackson gonna have to get one off. Got it. Couple of steps out there. What a way to end the first quarter. It's Rice 20 and Abilene Christian 13. WAC Hoops on ESPN continues after these messages. Start of the second quarter here in Abilene, Texas. Welcome back to WAC Hoops on ESPN. Zach Carlisle, Chris Jarrett, Daisy Strine, and the gang as Rice has a 7-point lead. Zoe Jackson hit a 3 at the gun to end the first quarter. Here come the Owls. And Dominique Ennis trying to start the second quarter with a bang. Out of bounds, it'll stay at this end. Let's go back to the Jackson 3 to end the first.
Just had enough time, a little bit of soft pressure coming up the floor from Buchanevich, and it looked really good the whole way. Our team saw that nothing but nylon on the way down, and that's a bit of a capper to end the first quarter. A little buzz here to start the second quarter.
Ball deflected. Peyton Hull got her hand on it to tap it free. Yeah, that might be a massive shot the way that that first quarter was ending, because a big part of it's been turnovers for ACU.
Yeah, and just the points off of turnovers that Rice has been able to cash in on the other end, outscoring ACU 10-2. So have to limit the self-inflicted turnovers if you're the Wildcats.
Owens Barnett not been afraid to launch him up tonight. No good that time. 1 for 4 from the field is the backup point guard for the Owls. Extra pass, Graham, nope, it's a charge first. Jackson called for the offensive foul.
Just great transition defense, getting back, identifying, coming down, and she was standing 2 feet tall right there, and so able to take the charge and send it the other way.
Jackson in her second year with the Wildcats. The Butler transfer from a couple years ago. Rice first year in the American Athletic Conference. Buchanevich will take the 3. She's got her second one from downtown tonight.
She's feeling it. We talked about the 2 misses she had, and they weren't bad misses, and that one right there had a good shot off, and it looked the entire way good, able to knock it down.
Buchanevich has 2 threes. Last year, she hit 2 threes all season. An incredible start to the season. Droxel no good on that one for ACU. Owens Barnett turning, scooping, scoring, and one. With the left hand, tremendous finish.
Lindsay Edmonds told us that she's happy with a road environment. Let's pack it up, take the squad on the road. And this is a Moody Coliseum that is really generating some buzz in the first half and making it tough to hear. On offense as well, maybe try and get some things going, but Owens Barnett able to get all the way inside and finish.
She says, look, we can take Jackson off the floor. We can insert Owens Barnett if things can go well. ACU takes Aspen Thornton off the floor with a couple fouls, and Zoe Jackson providing valuable minutes.
And we've seen Rice play really good defense tonight. That time it was just Jackson able to get to a good spot and then put her head down and get to the cup.
Buchanevich again, no good. When you hit 2 a year ago and you've hit 3 already this year, surprising many. Kennedy Rising turning. A height disadvantage there. Haley Adams blocks it away.
And Adams just standing tall, able to not bite the shot fakes.
The defense from Bella Earl. Chance at a track meet tonight. Earl's fouled.
And you're seeing, Zach, what ACU is trying to do, and it's to lower the shoulder and in transition, get inside and get to the stripe. That's exactly what we saw from Jackson here. Just get the defender off balance, slicing through the two defenders and then finishing with a nice left hand.
So Bella Earl to the line here for ACU. They've been wanting to see her take step and be one of the leaders of this team. The junior out of Corinth, Texas. Denton Geyer High School, tremendous high school career, a highly touted transfer, or a recruit rather, when she came in for Julie Goodenough a couple of years ago. Inching closer towards 400 career points.
She got off to a hot start last year as well, with 4 of her first 7 games in double figures.
Gooden off the screen, trying to finish it, no good. Out of bounds, and it will go to Abilene Christian. Malia Fisher returning to the Rice lineup. Again, with Aspen Thornton on the bench with 2 fouls, Zoe Jackson will be running the show for Abilene Christian offensively.
She's done well, just sliding into the role. A little bit of a facilitator, and she scored it as well.
A little bit of pressure here on Troxel, the inbounder. Abilene Christian had a halftime lead in Houston last year against Rice. Brooke Jessen, no good. Rebound pulled down by Susie Ngulafak. Nice little lob, and Fisher finishes that one.
Really good by Ennis too, just knowing that the defender's not quite ready for a pass and a little slip, and then Fisher with the urgency as soon as she gets it, puts it up and knocks it down.
Snapped a 6-0 ACU run. Troxel gonna flip it up with the foul on Fisher.
And Zach, I think what we're seeing is ACU handling the pressure that Rice is playing with. They're a really physical team, and in a lot of the first quarter, we saw them play clean, physical, just body-on-body defense. But ACU now lowering the shoulder, we keep saying it, but getting to the stripe and wearing the contact and trying to get to the free throw line.
So Fisher and Klazak each have 2 fouls for Rice. Troxel no good at the foul line. And then Thornton on the other side has 2 fouls for ACU. It's a lot of star power on the bench right now, halfway through the second quarter.
You're seeing that Rice is having to adjust as well with Abilene Christian, no Addison Martin tonight, 6'1" forward. They'd love to have that size in this type of matchup, but then some foul trouble, kind of evening the scales out a little bit for the Owls.
Try to lob it inside too high for Ngulafak, the Samford transfer, number 35. Adds more height to that Rice lineup, and they need it in the American. Boy, it's a big physical conference in the paint. Rising thought about it. Earl will take it. Abilene Christian 2 for 5 from three-point line. Something they're not afraid to launch. They usually average upwards of 25 to 27 three-point attempts a game. Under Julie Goodenough. Offensive foul on Ngulafak. Illegal screen.
And what you'd really not like to have if you're Edmonds and company is when you've got your ones on the bench, the subs that are coming in, and you're rotating in to start picking up fouls as well. Then fouls start to pile up, and you're giving free shots at the free throw line.
No field goals in 2.5 minutes for Abilene Christian. Another whistle. Trinity Gooden. That's her second. Fouls are really adding up. That's 3 starters with 2 fouls for Rice. Rising's wide open. Could not connect.
And they're good looks, Zach. They're open looks. And as a shooter, and Julie Goodenough, tell your shooters just keep shooting. One goes in, and that'll make all the difference.
Travel before the jumper for Adams. Oh, yep. A couple extra steps there before the jumper.
Looked like she was clean off of the dribble, but just that little bit of hesitation, sometimes that's what makes it that visual bait for the officials to look and go, that didn't look natural, that's a walk.
Spread the floor a little bit here for ACU. 4 out, 1 in. Earl trying to beat the defender, no good. Well defensed by Buchanevich. Halfway through the second quarter. Adams, no good.
Just a quick shot for Rice, a team that we noted coming into this game had a big size matchup, but with how ACU's been playing on defense, it's just been tough to try to move the ball around and get paint touches for the Owls on offense.
10 to shoot it for Jackson. She'll launch. I don't know that drew any rim, but
I don't think it did either.
ACU will get the fresh 20. Jessen no good, and the rebound to Ngulafat. Jackson on the move. Guarded by Jackson. It's a tie-up. And the arrow to the Wildcats. We got a 9-point game middle way through quarter number 2 in Abilene, Texas.
Pre-game excitement of tailgating or the post-game euphoria of winning celebrations. United Supermarkets always brings an A game to your party. From kickoff to tip-off and the final buzzer to the last out. United Supermarkets is proud to feed the competitive.
Now welcome home, Wildcats. Moody Coliseum, the longtime home of ACU basketball, is back.
This is the premier ACU Wildcat offense.
Look at that gem.
ACUTV is really special because you have an opportunity to dive in and to get started day one.
You could start out on camera or you could start out in the studio, but if you want to direct or if you want to TD or if you want to operate cameras or do replays, you have the opportunity to do all of that and learn.
If you have any love or any interest in TV or just really want to find a community of people who want to work hard and follow their passions, that's what ACUTV is.
Tuesdays on ESPN Plus get in-depth coverage of all things Abilene Christian women's basketball. It's a Julie Good Enough show presented by ACU TV every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central on ESPN Plus and the ESPN app. Well, Rice with this 9-point lead, maybe they don't feel quite as great about it right now because of foul trouble, Chris. It's becoming a problem here in the first half.
It is, and it's forcing Rice to have to get a lot of rotation on and off the floor. But what we're looking at right now is still a 9-point lead, so the door has been open for ACU to try and take that foul trouble and capitalize. We're seeing the Wildcats try and knock down some triples, but they're not closing the gap. So as of right now, if you're Rice, this is just a free opportunity to just rotate some bodies in and out, get some good experience because the margin isn't getting any smaller. So if you're ACU, you have to really prioritize these final 4 minutes and change before halftime.
And you mentioned the shooting to kind of take advantage of it. ACU 2 for 7 from the three-point line, and they've missed 4 free throws here in this first half
So
as well.
3 points that you've got to try to cash in on because that makes all the difference right now. A 9-point deficit shrinks to 5.
ACU 0 for their last 7 from the floor. A scoring drought of 2.5 minutes. Down 9. Jackson changes that with a triple right on cue.
She's been a spark tonight. A little spark plug for the Wildcats with some triples. She had one to close the first quarter, and that one's a big one.
17 threes was it a year ago for Jackson. 2 of them in game number 2 of the year for the junior. Buchanevich has a couple of them already. No good that time. Adams, offensive rebound, threw it away, tried to get it to Hayes.
It's the right idea for Adams, drawing Meredith Mays off balance a little bit, but again, I think if this can be the difference, you're going to start to see this lead shrink if the Wildcats can knock down some of these open looks.
Meanwhile, Rice is on a 3-minute scoring drought now. ACU trying to close the gap. Kennedy Rising, a fresh face, one of 7 newcomers to the ACU roster this year. Earl drives, no, couldn't get it. Did not draw any iron, and Rice with the rebound. Hayes trying to dribble out of it. Let Destiny Jackson go do her thing, no good. Rebound to Meredith Mays, the 6'2" freshman out of Oklahoma. Look at her drive the length of the floor and get it to Rising. Timeout, Rice. Your 6'2" freshman center turns into the point guard and goes the length of the floor. Watch this.
If you can, I mean, kind of loses Hayes here. No one steps in to stop the ball at the last second. You unfortunately have to have the side defender and Adams slide over, and you've got a wide open layup. That was phenomenal. Just awareness to run the floor and nobody stops you. Keep going until you get stopped.
It feels like the second quarter has been kind of slow. This is a 6-0 run in 4 minutes of game time.
Yeah. And a lot of time has passed, and it just seems like Rice, without their playmakers out on the floor, things have really slowed down.
It's a 10-7 second quarter. Abilene Christian in front, trailing by 4 overall. Owens Barnett, no good. Lindsay Edmonds told us this week before the game, I got to see my team put 40 minutes together. Looking forward to doing that. And so far, she's not as happy as she would like to be here tonight. Claire Graham got one. 2-point game.
And just loud, man, just loud as this lead has shrunk down to close in on the end of the first half.
Rice led 25-13. It's a 12-2 Abilene Christian run. Shelby Hayes turns, denied. But a freshman Mays is having herself a couple of minutes here. 90 seconds until the break. Double dribble. And a turnover on Abilene Christian. Hey, coming up, we've got the ESPN halftime report. Connor Mullins, Matthew De La Cruz in the studio. We'll have first half stats, break it down with analysis as well. All coming up, ESPN halftime report.
What do you think they were talking about there?
Yeah, I know, I'm curious, right? I couldn't do any lip reading there. Oh, it's going to go down for Jackson and one. A scoring drought of 5 minutes and 20 seconds ends right there.
And that'll really quiet things down. And Lindsay Edmonds said that she was happy to get a good road match and see where her team's at. It's a heck of a first half with how this pace has felt. And it does, I mean, does it feel like the second quarter or fourth quarter with some of these plays that we're seeing?
Jackson with the big 3-point play to stop the bleeding and go up by 5. We mentioned it, halftime report coming up. Daisy with Coach Goodenough on the sideline. Matthew Connor in the studio will wrap up the first half, get you ready for the final 20 minutes as well. Peyton Hull. Boy, we got some youngsters playing in this one. Hull, another freshman.
She slid right in, 17 minutes and 5 of 7 from the field. Didn't take long at all to have an impact on a ball game.
It's
a big one.
Yeah, a game high 14 Monday night in the win. A dozen to shoot it. Buchanevich. Not afraid to launch him. We got a jump ball. Arrow will stay with Rice. And they're going to put 20 on the shot clock. Yeah, because no change of possession.
seeing Rice go smaller here with their 5 out on the floor.
One of the rare times ACU would have a little slight height advantage. No good for Ennis. Almost no time difference here between game and shot clock. ACU can hold for almost the final shot of the period. Maybe Jackson will launch another
They
one.
get a free to go down here, man.
No kidding.
This place would get loud.
Down 3. Double screen, 3 seconds. They're gonna get it. Mace, did she get it off? No, she did not. And that will, I think, take us, well, wait a second here.
No, they gotta put time back on.
They may put time on the clock.
Yeah. Because the clock would be dead as soon as before she got the shot off. So the clock would have just a couple fractions of a second on the clock.
Yeah, if it's a shot clock violation, they have to put a 1/10 of a second.
It's by the book at least.
That's right. And that'll take us into halftime. ACU, 3 of their last 3 from the floor. They've closed the gap to 3. And Julie Goodenough is over with Daisy Stride.
I'm here with head coach Julie Goodenough. Coach, how are you feeling about that first half?
Really slow start, but I thought our players responded well. We picked up our defensive intensity and kind of got ourselves back into the game.
What are you hoping to improve on most here coming up in the second half?
We've got to execute better on offense. We do like to get deep in the shot clock, but we've got to execute sooner in that possession.
Thank you so much, Coach. Good luck. Guys, back to you.
Daisy, thank you very much. Yeah, Rice finished 1 for their last 8 from the floor. Abilene Christian hit 3 big triples in that first half. It's Rice by 3, 30-27. And we've got our ESPN halftime report with the guys in the studio coming up after these messages.
And welcome into the halftime show here at Moody Coliseum in Abilene, Texas. Rice taking the lead 30-27 here in Abilene on this Thursday night. And we welcome you inside the studio. Connor Mullins alongside Matthew De La Cruz. Matthew, a 3-point lead for Rice. They beat ACU by 16 last year. What did you see from those two teams in that opening half?
Yeah, Connor, I saw a fast start from Rice. They were coming out playing physical defense. In that first quarter, Rice forced 3 turnovers, 1 block, 2 steals. That really set the tone early and caught the Wildcats off guard. However, at the end of that first quarter, ACU adjusted to the pressure, made some good, quick adjustments. Zoe Jackson with a late buzzer beater 3 to cut the lead at the end of the first quarter to 7. So expect ACU to keep adjusting to this pressure going down the stretch as they cut it from a 9-point to a 3-point deficit going into the half.
Yeah, absolutely. Zoe Jackson had a phenomenal half. She had 8 points for the Wildcats. Addison Martin out for ACU as well tonight. What have you seen from ACU and what adjustments do you want to see from them in that second half?
So far, I've seen unlikely heroes step up for the Wildcats. Zoe Jackson, the junior, leading the scoring column with 8 points in the first half. So I'm expecting somebody on the Wildcats, if they want to win, they need another unlikely hero to step up and help carry that burden for the Wildcats. And for Rice, on the other side of the ball, they need to keep doing their thing, keep setting that pressure. They saw early success with that in the first quarter. So keep getting up and playing tight defense and smothering the Wildcats, not letting them get any of these threes off in the future.
And it's been a very early start to the season, only 2 games in, but ACU down by 3 at the half, 30-27 here. This has been your halftime report here on ESPN Plus. Connor Mullins, Matthew De La Cruz signing off here in the studio.
ACUTV is really special because you have an opportunity to dive in and to get started day one.
You could start out on camera or you could start out in the studio, but if you want to direct or if you want to TD or if you want to operate cameras or do replays, you have the opportunity to do all of that and learn.
If you have any love or any interest in TV or just really want to find a community of people who want to work hard and follow their passions, that's what ACUTV is.
ACUTV is really special because you have an opportunity to dive in and to get started day one.
ACU is a great place to be because you're next in line. The opportunities here are unique to ACU. You won't be next in line at a larger university.
You could start out on camera or you could start out in the studio, but if you want to direct or if you want to TD or if you want to operate cameras or do replays, you have the opportunity to do all of that and learn what you want to do.
I was able to work a bunch of different sporting events like soccer, baseball, football, basketball, and it was just really fun and exciting. I even got to do a story at one of our basketball games on the sideline, and that was just really fun to get that experience on camera.
For the year of 2023.
If you have any love or any interest in TV or just really want to find a community of people who want to work hard and follow their passions, that's what ACUTV is.
Being a college freshman, I did not think coming in that I would be doing things that are on ESPN Plus that I can tell my parents to go turn on the TV.
Nice job!
ACUTV brings a great community. You're surrounded by a lot of other like-minded people, and I've met some great friends who also share my same interests, love for broadcasting, love for sports, and being surrounded by a community like that has really fostered some great ideas and great learning experiences.
It's one of those things where you don't necessarily see everybody on a daily basis, but when you come into work, you get to sit next to your best friend and you get to talk to them and crack jokes during the game, and then you get to a really high stress moment and we're all working together and you really created a trust between the entire team.
Going to college is all about learning new things and trying new things out, and you never know what you're going to experience until you do it. So when I jumped in my first week and started working chapels, I had no idea what I was doing, but I was able to walk through all of the steps, and the benefits I got were insane. I learned so much, I created a community very quickly, and I was able to learn a bunch of skills that are going to carry me not through just college, but communication skills that I wouldn't have going into the workforce.
There's a lot of skills that you can learn that you can apply to different fields of work, whether it be adjusting to things on the fly because unexpected things happen, listening to instruction, communication, just different skills that you can apply with different things.
My favorite memory working at ACUTV would probably be Sing Song, just because all of your friends are up there, and maybe if singing and dancing is not really your thing, being a part of ACUTV and working camera crew and production makes you feel like you're in it with them.
Got to jump into an event that everybody was involved in. So it just was a really cool experience seeing our friends on the stage, getting to record them, getting to just be a part of it as well.
My most memorable experience at ACUTV so far would have to be the first ever game that I worked. I worked one of the volleyball games, which was really cool because I played for 8 years, so it was a lot of fun to just kind of be on another different side of the game, playing action.
Getting to be a part of the games, hearing the crowd just going wild, and watching the basketball games while also recording it or being in the studio and filming it is a lot of fun.
Football games, I felt like I was very energetic, definitely during the games, because I was a DB in high school, and so every time they would throw a long one, I would make sure to get a close-up.
Spectacular catch, touchdown.
I love football. Can't wait for next semester. It's going to be amazing.
ACU TV.
Really provides a unique opportunity to join a smaller community within ACU, which is already a great community. Join as soon as you can, because I feel like if you join later, then you're going to regret not joining sooner.
Second half coming up here in Moody Coliseum in Abilene, Texas. It's Rice in front of ACU by 3 as the third quarter is coming up in just a moment. Welcome courtside, everybody. Zach Carlisle with Chris Jarrett. And I tell you what, this game all of a sudden is close. Rice had a biggest lead of 12. ACU has shortened the gap.
Yeah, and they have, and we've seen that from a couple of different things. We've seen foul trouble in the first half where Jackson has not been able to be out on the floor as much. Malia Fisher's been out of the ball game. So we've seen some foul trouble, and it's opened the door for some names that have not been said as much. So Jackson leads the way for Abilene Christian, 8 points, had a 3-ball to go down to end the first quarter, a big 3-ball in the second quarter as well, but needing more depth to try and close the gap. Just 3 points, but still work to be done for the Wildcats.
Yeah, the names not on that graphic are Malia Fisher and Emily Klazak. And for ACU, no Aspen Thornton on that graphic. That's where the foul trouble comes in, and I'm very curious to see how this third quarter begins.
I'm curious to see what's going to be different, because we saw a lot of physicality and a lot of contact in the first quarter. It started to get called, so you had to see Rice adjust, make some audibles a little bit, I guess, so to speak, on defense and how they played the game, because the fouls really started to rack up. Now, Abilene Christian, 6 for 10 at the free throw line, and Rice just 4 of 6. So a team that really wants to crash the free throw line and try and get more opportunities there. You might see Rice have a little bit more of an offensive rhythm, Zach, because I just don't think we saw enough paint touches for Rice, and rarely got the ball inside the painted area.
So off we go with this third quarter. Abilene Christian will touch it for the first time, and to the baseline, Claire Graham, no good. But you see the starting 5 back out there for ACU. And Shelby Hayes will give it to Fisher. Starting 5 on the floor for Rice as well. And there is Fisher. 4 points, 4 rebounds in that first half.
Just 10 minutes too, but waste no time to come right back in and remind folks why she was the impact player coming into this and why she wears the number 1.
Aspen Thornton just 6 first half minutes with a couple fouls. Brooke Jessen getting the start inside with the concussion to Addison Martin. No good in the interior. Fisher again, back to work, back into the basket. A couple early ones for Malia Fisher.
And close ones, high percentage shots right off of the box, Zach. So get it inside, and she wins the one-on-one matchups. That's what they're looking for, but the foul trouble prevented that.
Thornton drives. Eight to shoot, it's Earl, tapped free, and who's it saved off of? It will stay with Abilene Christian. Great hustle from Fisher.
With the extra mile on going for that basketball. Happy she's okay. That's just a long wraparound for Bella Earl to try and make something happen. And you're going to see Rice start to take away where AC was wrapping all the way around. And they're going to say that went off Thornton.
Off of her leg.
Yep.
And out of bounds. She only had 4 seconds to shoot it anyway. These two teams played a year ago in Houston. Abilene Christian had the lead at halftime, and Rice came out and outscored ACU 24-11 in the third quarter to pull away. They're off to the first 4 here, make it 6. Here in this third quarter, it's Shelby Hayes.
And you're seeing where the impact that Fisher has on the floor. When she doesn't have the ball, that allows Hayes some space, and she just knocked down a nice little elbow jumper.
Thornton back to the basket. Earl finishes that one. First points of the period for the Wildcats.
Missed an easy one earlier and able to finish at close range that time. A good direction of the basketball, knifed right by it, got a nice pass and finished.
Good to see Aspen Thornton out there. We haven't talked about her enough. Ouachita Baptist transfer from a year ago, second-year Wildcat. Here goes Klazak, another one we haven't seen enough of here in the ball game. Emily Klazak, the UAB transfer, first year at Rice. Here's the Earl basket.
And just, again, good action. You say away from the ball. She's next to the ball, but when she's not in possession of it, able to get right to the rim and get a nice pass.
Emma Troxel, UC 24, checking in for Abilene Christian. Emily Klazak started her career at UAB, played in 75 games over there in Birmingham. Comes to Rice. And scored 6 in the opener Monday night in that dominant win over Houston Christian. But foul trouble in the first half. She leaves the game here for the Owls.
And had I think it was the third bucket of the ball game all the way back in the first quarter. It was. And then again, just the foul trouble. So hasn't been able to be on the floor, and joins the list of a lot of Owls that the same has been the situation.
Defensive foul. It's on Trinity Gooden. And that is Gooden's third personal. 3 minutes into the third.
That's what we're seeing with Rice. Of course you start your ones to start out the third quarter and hope that they can go a long time without being in foul trouble, but as soon as that third one gets picked up, they're in the danger zone.
Klazak's going to have to come back in with Gooden having 3. Here goes Graham. Not close. Ball pinballed to Jackson.
Back what we saw earlier to start the ball game, forcing off-balance shots and out-of-rhythm shots by this Wildcats defense, offense should say.
Put the ball in number 1's hand. Fisher got it.
Wow.
All-conference stud from Conference USA.
She was on the move on that dribble and then came to a stop right on the charity stripe, and with one dribble composed her balance and was able to get the help from the bounce on the front rim.
That jumper offline, rebound to Hayes. We got a foul. Jessen and Graham were both there. I think it's on Claire Graham. And that's her third personal.
Yeah, that's tough.
Fisher basket.
Just you can see the jab off the final dribble to buy the space away from Graham. That's a really good, can't even say if that's mid-range jumper. That's deeper than mid-range jumper that she got to go.
Fisher hesitates and buries one.
She's on fire. I mean, that reaction is valid with how she's come out in the third quarter and blown the doors off.
First 3 of the young season for Malia Fisher. And terrific defense at this end. It'll stay. Here's the Fisher 3.
And just away from the ball, moving. You can see how she gets lost in that offensive wash. ACU trying to protect inside, and they lose sight of her just for a moment. You can see what she can do.
The lead has blossomed to 14 for Rice. On to drive, Peyton Hull. Boy, a terrific freshman out of Peaster, Texas.
And she's going to find a role here in a tag team with Thornton if they can get the guard play going.
Look at the answer from Dominique Kenneth. Timeout, Abilene Christian. Julie Goodenough wants to talk things over. Rice storming out of the gate. And their lead is 15. The 3 from Ennis, the latest barrage.
And the thrill of the action. The cheers from the crowd energize our team and push them on to victory. Whether it's the pre-game excitement of tailgating or the post-game euphoria of winning celebrations, United Supermarkets always brings an A-game to your party. From kickoff to tip-off and the final buzzer to the last out, United Supermarkets is proud to feed the competitive spirit.
Now, welcome home, Wildcats. Moody Coliseum, the longtime home of ACU basketball, is back.
This is the premier ACU Wildcat offense.
Look at that gem.
ACUTV is really special because you have an opportunity to dive in and to get started day one.
You could start out on camera or you could start out in the studio, but if you want to direct or if you want to TD or if you want to operate cameras or do replays, you have the opportunity to do all of that and learn.
If you have any love or any interest in TV or just really want to find a community of people who want to work hard and follow their passions, that's what ACUTV is.
Expected to be a beautiful night here in the big country. Rice is on a 16-4 start to this third quarter in their latest 15.
And you can't say that it's been anything else but Malia Fisher re-entering herself into the ball game. Had foul trouble that she dealt with in the first half. Only about 10 minutes of action that we were able to say her name, but slid right back into the picture. Had a 3-ball go down and just allowing her game to make the difference in the second half.
She now has a game-high 8 points. And Abilene Christian looking for some answers. Mays goes back door. Bella Earl, a couple of baskets here in the third.
Yeah, just a really good set piece by ACU. Knowing they'd get the ball out of the break. And a quick touch pass by the freshman.
Fisher had it taken away. Can Thornton get up and go? It's taken from her, but out of bounds.
And this is easier said than done, but we're going to get another good look at the pass real quick. Just waited a half beat for Mays to get that pass off.
That basket has cut it to 13 here midway through this third quarter. Timeout in Abilene, Texas. Abilene Christian basketball down by a baker's dozen here. Trying to stop the bleeding in this third quarter. It's Troxel. That's a forced shot. That's up and no good. An offensive rebound, and we got a foul. Peyton Hull's going to be a player this year for Abilene Christian. Offensive rebound here.
She is. That's a tough take. A good step in by Fisher, but just, I think, wanted to try and take away the baseline, but then also took a swipe at the ball. But what we've seen from Hull is she just is able to step right in and is not afraid of contact, and she moves really quick.
Back into the paint, Troxel again. Look at Hayes defending, and again it'll stay at this end with, well, I thought they was 11 to shoot. They have let it tick down to 9. But now they'll put it back to 11 on the shot clock. Oh, they got Troxel open again. Third time's a charm for 24.
And Troxel, we mentioned too, a pair of freshmen that were impressive in that matchup against SAGU. It was Hull and it was Troxel that both came in off the bench and both finished in double figures.
Little 2-3 zone trap and a foul on Bella Earl. Dominique Ennis trying to head to the baseline.
You know that Ennis is going to get the ball and likely be on the move. And with Earl closing in there, just maybe a couple too big of steps and then drew it in the bump.
Klazak, no good. It's Adams now. Is that a tie-up? Yes, it is. Arrow stays with the Owls.
That was good on Mays, just seeing the ball and not being overly aggressive for trying to clamp down on it, but just get the hands on the ball and draw the tie up.
We'll see if this changeup to the defense makes a difference here for Julie Goodenough's bunch. First time seeing zone tonight. Klazak 5 on the timer. Jackson, the lefty, well, that's way deep. Rebound, pinballs out, a fresh 20. Rice up 11, it's Ennis again. That missed everything, and Klazak out of bounds.
Those are the tough rebounds to come away with because they call them long rebounds. It's not close to the hoop. You don't know what type of deflection that's going to take. In that instance, it doesn't take one. And what could have been a second O board on that trip down the floor, ACU gets the ball back.
3.5 to go in this third quarter. ACU just 5 points to show for it so far. Earl gonna launch one. And they are really going to need Bella Earl to be a terrific shooter this season. Taken away, here comes Hall. This freshman phenom. Julie Goodenough had been talking about this freshman class for a couple of years and how excited she was. It's Hull, no good. Foul stays at this end.
You got to credit the ACU bench too. It's in the environment that we've been in tonight. It doesn't feel right now like it's an 11-point deficit for this team, and that's what kind of led them to claw their way back into the first half. As a bucket was a big break for this team, and they were able to stack them together.
Meredith Mays turning, spinning. She's had some big minutes.
She's had to slide right into the absence without Addison Martin and made that look really easy, Zach, for a freshman. She's very technically sound.
That ball's loose. Thornton got her hand on it. It stays here.
Look at this. Able to just go to work one-on-one, turn her around, get the little shot fake. And Hayes was out of balance, out of position after the ball fake.
Just 8 on the shot clock for the Owls. Kick it out. Jazzy Owens Barnett, no. Ennis with the rebound. Jackson goes and taps that one away. .16 on the timer for Rice.
It's a nice pass out of you there. Get some action.
Yeah, you know, my first one of the year.
Let's get you involved here.
Got my hands on it. I was pleased with the one-handed pass.
Yeah.
Buchanevich, no good. There's been a lot of looks for Buchanevich tonight.
She's been open, and if they can find a three-point shot in that, she'll take them. A lot of size, and it's a good-looking shot. Just comes to a set and lets it fly, and we saw a couple of them go down in the first half.
Against this zone defense, they found the soft spot, and there's Haley Adams.
The Owls are just keeping their cool. They're just, it's loud, things are getting up pace, but they're slowing things down and just doing their thing on offense.
Mason Troxel with this two-man action, and now the kick out for Hull. So you think about it, you got Troxel, Mays, and Hull, all true freshmen out there on the floor for Abilene Christian.
And you noted a 15-15 season last year for Julie Goodenough's squad. That's not going to last. That's not going to be the pace that they run at for the seasons to come. And they've, as you mentioned, they've got freshmen out on the floor. These are big minutes, big moments for them.
There's Hull making a play. Here she goes. Trying to split defenders. Travel on Haley Adams. The turnover and a basket for Hull.
And just an easy run out. We have not seen a lot of those by Rice tonight. A little uncharacteristic of them to give a free giveaway turn into points.
Zoe Jackson, who had 8 points off the bench in the first half. Here comes Hull. That's a confident youngster. We have a whistle. We got an offensive foul. With 21 seconds. Jackson, another offensive.
Probably just a player. I don't know. It looked from our angle, it looked like she might have been out of control, a little downhill, but right there.
Yeah, hard to tell if the feet were set there from Owens Barnett. No shot clock. Jazzy Owens Barnett blocked, no foul on Mays. With 5 seconds, it's free throws.
And she was in a really good spot to just get a piece of the ball. Let's see another look. Just could have allowed that, and she did, but leaving the feet and just not really focusing on just get a piece. If you can disrupt the shot, it's a block nonetheless.
So Jazzy Owens Barnett. The sophomore out of Plano, Texas. Played in 32 games a year ago, scored 2 points on Monday. Hits 1 out of 2. Lead back to 10. Four seconds, it'll stay with ACU. They got 3 seconds to go the length of the floor.
Yeah, that's gonna complicate it. 5 was maybe a good amount of time, but this might be tough.
Jackson may have to launch one from 3/4 court. One arms one, and that takes us to the end of the third quarter. It's Rice 49 and Abilene Christian 39. WAC basketball on ESPN continues after these messages. Start of the fourth quarter, Rice in front by 10. Let's talk about signing day that happened earlier this week. Send it over to Daisy Strine.
Thanks, guys. Head coach Julie Goodenough announced some exciting news yesterday for National Signing Day, introducing us to the 3 new signees that will be joining the Wildcats in the 2024-2025 season. The athletes are Amy Flippin, Tyla Hurd, and Paula Pike. The newly signed athletes are set to make their debut in June, bringing their talents to the purple and white next season. Thanks, guys. Back to you.
Daisy, thank you very much as we start this fourth quarter. Abilene Christian with a basketball down by 10. Zach Carlisle, Chris Jarrett, and Daisy on the sideline. We got a foul at this end, much to the dislike of the Rice bunch as we take another look at signing day.
Yeah, and Flippin, too, is, look at the size, 6'4" center out of Texas, and is the number 39th ranked player in the 2024 class. Zach, the second highest ranked incoming freshman that the Wildcats have penned in program history. And so you really got to tip your cap to this coaching staff, Ethan McElhargy, and the recruiting efforts that are led by this Wildcats program to go out, bring in new talent. They really like Tyla Hurd, too, the 7th ranked player out of Oklahoma in the 2024 class. So a lot of promise coming in next season.
Free throws continue to be a problem. 1 out of 2 there for Bella Earl to cut the deficit to 9. We got a foul off the ball. It's on Kennedy Rising for Abilene Christian. And Rice got off to such a huge start in the third quarter. 16-4 out of the gate. ACU's weathered the storm a little bit here, and they're within striking distance.
Yep, and it's what Coach Goodenough said going into halftime as well.
Bukanevich with her 3rd triple. She's been not afraid to launch them at all from downtown.
No, and just another option for this Owls offense that if she's open, go ahead and pull it. And Zach, the rebound advantage is inside as well, so if you don't get the miss, you have bodies inside. Maybe not so much there, but able to knock that down.
Yeah, the rebounding, to your point, 30-18 in favor of Rice. 23 defensive to 3 offensive for Abilene Christian. And the lead's a dozen for the Owls. Backside rising. It's a foul first. Lindsay Edmonds is furious on the right sideline. Foul trouble continues to be an issue. Fisher and Klazak and Gooden each with 3. That is a kick, and they will reset it to 20 on the shot clock. And does it feel like Abilene Christian's going to probably need a few 3-pointers here in this fourth quarter?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they've gotten open looks.
Claire Graham had to go get it. Earl, one of those open looks, and it rims home. The friendly Moody bounce.
That's the home bounce right there. Just died off the front rim and went in. And there's one of those trays.
Zone defense continues for Abilene Christian. It's Graham. Got the takeaway. The layup's no good, but Rising's there for the finish. Two minutes into this fourth. Fisher kept her balance. Buchanevich again, no. That would have been a dynamic fourth 3-pointer.
This is an awesome game for both of these teams early in their seasons to get an environment like this.
Thornton, 4 seconds. It is a blocking foul. That could have gone either direction, and it is the 4th foul on Fisher.
This is a possession that goes all the way down to 5 seconds. Man, that looked good right there. As it happened, wasn't too sure, but then that look right there looked like she might have gotten set, but
wow.
You unfortunately were in a foul, a 3rd foul on Fisher, where you could have just stood tall, get the hands up, and try to avoid contact. She tries to draw a big charge and rolls the dice.
Boy, you're right. That was close for her being set there. Could have gone the other direction. That ball saved. Thornton goes and gets it.
It's a tough bail, too, that call, because now you got a full fresh 20 for ACU.
Yeah, and the 4th foul on Malia Fisher. Thornton, Mays, what a night for 14 and white.
Little contact to finish as well. Had to finish with the late arrival, and she got the shot off.
A 7-0 run in 75 seconds for Abilene Christian. Jackson, contact. She'll shoot 2. A terrific way to try to stop the bleeding is go get fouled.
Yep, just try and force the issue and get inside, and that is what it looked like Jackson was doing, was forcing the issue and just kind of crashed in there. And was it on Mays that they got the call, or was it the defender on the hip that wears the foul call there?
Both coaches are pleading with the officials right now as Jackson hits the first free throw. So when Lindsay Edmonds got to Rice, the only ones coming in with her were Jackson, Gooden, Buchanevich, and Fisher. And that's a good core that's gone with her all 3 years now.
Really good core. And she takes pride that her players that have come into this program, they've all stuck around and wanted to be in for the long haul.
And a foul on Destiny Jackson. It's her 2nd. That's the 4th on Rice. We have 7 minutes to go, and the next one, it's bonus the rest of the way for Abilene Christian.
And how much have we touched on free throws, Zach, tonight? You've got an ACU team 7 for 12, sub 60%, and then Rice at 9 for 12. It could come down to who can sink their free throws.
Gracie Wernley into the game, 22 and white, another freshman. A dozen to shoot it. Here goes Thornton, takes on 2 defenders. Might have been a forced shot there with Buchanevich rebounding. Klazak, it's Ennis, big 3. No good.
And that's really tough. Rice did a great job transitioning there. They had a lot of bodies back, a lot of open shooters, and unfortunately settle for a one and done.
Rice doesn't have a field goal in 2.5 minutes. Thornton, she's forced up a couple on each of these last two trips. Not the best looks. Ennis, one arm, got it. Dominique Ennis. Big time finish to go back up 9.
She called her own number. Talking about Thornton on this end for ACU, Zach, the one made field goal was the run out that she had to finish.
Kennedy rising, draws the foul, and I think Buchanevich going to be called for this one.
Just her second.
Coach Edmonds pleading that Buchanevich had her hands up. This seems like a smart play here. Zoe Jackson's had the hot hand tonight.
She has, and you give an opportunity here. It's a good rotation. Jackson will take a seat as well. You'll see that for Rice in the final closing minutes, as you'll see Thornton give her a chance to take a break, hit a breather, 1 for 4 from the field, a chance to reset for the closing moments.
Lindsay Edmonds told us we don't lose anything when Jazzy Owens-Barnett comes in, the sophomore out of Plano, and you got Jackson in for ACU. This could come down to the backup point guards for both of these teams here down to finish.
You play whoever is having an impact in this ball game, and you know, as we mentioned on that, you bring Troxel, the freshman, back in for you to try to give you some big moments as a true freshman.
Zone defense here. Ennis had the hot hand, rattles another one home. 7 massive points in her first 3.
And boy, did they need that to go down, just settle some things down, and a big perimeter shot to grow the lead back to 10.
Right at the halfway point of the 4th. Wernley gonna step back late in the shot clock. No good. Massive possession here.
These are the rotation minutes where a lot of big names are on the bench resting up right now for the final 2.5 minutes of this 4th quarter. And so this is where, for Rice, you'd love to grow the lead further into double digits.
We got a foul and we got free throws when we come back. 4.5 to go. What a great way to have it on this opening Thursday night. It's Rice by 10. Back here in Abilene, Texas, it's Rice in front by 10. Glad you're with us tonight, no matter where you may be watching, from Raleigh, North Carolina, to Columbus, Ohio, to Des Moines, Iowa, to Columbus, Mississippi, to Dallas, Texas, our friends in San Angelo, Texas, our friends down in Houston. Rice making the trip. And up by 10 here, free throws and foul trouble gonna decide this thing here in the final 4.5 minutes.
And it's Rice fortunate it's a 10-point ball game right now, because it's a big spot to knock down some free ones.
1 out of 2 for Jazzy Owens-Barnett. Zoe Jackson running the point for Abilene Christian. Here's Bella Earl. Wide pass, but Jackson corrals it. Brooke Jessen, one of the rare touches in the paint. Feeds, it's Hall, no. Got it back, no. Couple of tough finishes there. Then the steal, and Earl has it. That was chaotic.
That's Peyton Hall missing twice inside, keeps herself involved in the play, and comes up with the steal and then the assist. That'll fill the stat sheet in a quick minute.
That was a what in the world just happened at the other end. Owens-Barnett, thought about it. Again, this 2-3 zone. Majority of this 4th quarter. Klazak, monster 3. No. Tapped out. Ennis This one's even bigger. Got it. Dominique Ennis from downtown.
The second Owl in double figures. She's been huge tonight, just 4 for 11 from the field, but a big triple.
Hayden Hull trying to answer. They missed the first one, but then Ennis off the kick out hits the big one.
She and Buchanevich have 5 of the team's just 7 triples of the game. It's been those two and just looming, keeping yourself involved, and the available hot hand to knock down a big jumper.
Zoe Jackson called for her 3rd foul earlier, so she will take a seat for Abilene Christian as Lindsay Edmonds looks on. Edmonds looking for win number 39 in her first 3 seasons. Julie Goodenough looking on. Over 500 wins in her 30 years on the sideline. Back to 10. It seems like it's been right around this lead for Rice, or this deficit for ACU.
It has, and ACU will have to pick up the pace, develop a little bit of some urgency, and might need a shot or two to go down, but they're going to have to get stops on this end.
Jazzy Owens, Barnett. Mid-range, dynamic. When they need those shots, they're knocking them down here in the 4th quarter.
Just solid. Just had a couple free throws go down. And Coach Edmonds said, too, Jazzy's just a good option off the bench to give us a spark plug.
46% shooting for the game for the Owls. Thornton. Aspen Thornton, 2 points. 1 field goal tonight. $10 on the timer. Look at Malia Fisher when she needs a huge play despite being in foul trouble. Able to make it happen.
6'1", but just does not play like it. She's got a ton of athleticism, and that's going to be a big player in the AAC this season.
Foul on Abilene Christian. There's our friends inside the studio running the show. Hutton Harris and the gang.
Big shout out to the crew there.
You're a part of that crew. You get to step out and be with me courtside tonight.
That's right.
Having a lot of fun. It's going to be a busy basketball season. Can't wait to bring it to you. Jazzy Owens, Barnett, 8 on the timer. With 1:45, Ennis again. Short, loose ball, arrow to the Owls. As they try to close it out, up a dozen. Upcoming schedule for Abilene Christian. They got an 11 a.m. game with Angelo State coming up in a week's time, and then they go to Annapolis for a tournament. Good non-conference slate for the Wildcats.
That 11 a.m. game, they're going to pack Moody here with the old elementary kid game, a nice field trip. What better field trip than get out and you get to scream your lungs out at a basketball game in the middle of the day.
A nice lunch hour trip.
Yeah.
Jazzy Owens Barnett for that dagger 3 for the Owls. They're on their way to a 2-0 start. It's a team last year. Timeout Abilene Christian and Julie Goodenough. It's this Rice team that a year ago, with a rebuilding roster, started 9-0, a program best. They got a tough slate again this year as they go to TCU coming up next.
That's a big one. That's a big non-conference game. You got to go on and take on TCU on the road. Yeah, and then a couple of home games before they go back out. Nacogdoches to take on Stephen F. Austin. Just a tough start to the season, but this team will be battle-tested and proved come conference play.
And Lindsay Edmonds told us with the switch to the American, it's always been in its existence a multi-bid league. This is a chance for them to build a resume to, hey, if we don't win the American tournament, we still have a chance at the NCAAs.
You don't have to be the conference winner or the tournament winner or have a 3-loss season. You can fill your schedule with some really solid mid-major or some Power 5 teams that are looking for mid-majors to tally on their early non-conference schedule, and that's what they're doing here in 23-24.
The youngster Meredith Mays had that one tonight. She's had a terrific night. Ennis has had a huge 4th quarter as well for Rice. That's no good. Aspen Thornton at the other end. Timeout Abilene Christian with 54 seconds. Here's what's coming up around campus. We got a fun football game Saturday afternoon.
That's going to be a really good matchup. A good Tarleton team coming in to take on an Abilene Christian team now that they are able to kind of wipe away the Southern Utah loss and they get back on track with Utah Tech. And then volleyball, again, Tarleton in Abilene, Texas. So volleyball closing in towards the end of their regular season as well and trying to make some things happen before the WAC tournament. And then the men make their home debut inside Moody. Talked to Brett Tainer earlier this week. He said that's a big one.
All of those on ESPN Plus and the ESPN app. Looking forward to all of that. Yeah, how about the men's basketball team at Abilene Christian? Monday night they go to Oklahoma State and upset the Cowboys.
Can they keep it going and now have to go to Raleigh and take on the Wolfpack? Again, another Power 5 opponent, a really good historical basketball school, a cool venue to go and treat your guys to in your program.
They're going for the touchdown to it's Barnett, and she's fouled. And we're talking football. Malia Fisher launches one down the floor. Terrific pass as they go deep. I think the outlook on this Rice team is tremendous for this season. They got a lot of veterans who have been here with Lindsey Edmonds. New league, which will be interesting to see those opponents for some of the first time, but I think this team won 23 games a year ago. That they could do that again this year.
Yeah, really good, and they're happy to have someone like Bucka Nebich too back, who had to deal with injury, redshirt her first year. 2 games into her next season, again a season-ending injury. So they're happy to have her back and another talented junior class with Rice.
And they got the right person leading the charge with Lindsey Edmonds. Can become the first coach in Rice history to have a winning record in each of her first 3 seasons. Obviously a long way to go, but trending in that direction.
Yeah.
Foul at this end.
She's made a heck of an impression at NC State. Speaking of NC State as well, 8 really good years in the ACC, a good conference, and again, recruiting experience, which always helps. And you could just tell from speaking with her, a great relationship with her players that every coach aspires to have. But you can tell, just a really polished head coach at Rice, and it's going to be a team that, again, picked 3rd in the AAC in their first season. Some really tough shoulders to be rubbing up against as well in that conference.
Very curious to see Abilene Christian, 3rd year in the WAC. They finished right at 500 in each of the first 2 years. A younger team, there's some pieces there to be had, but they're playing all of these freshmen, and there's going to be some growing pains, but I'm also excited to see how it goes for this group this year.
Yep, no, you're moving on from Malia Langstaff, Maddie Miller. These names are not on your team anymore, and now the door is open for Julie Goodenough and these incoming freshmen to try and make a name for themselves and get back to that spot.
There's one of them, Emma Troxel. Timeout. Rice will advance it into the front court, 33 seconds in this 11-point game.
And a team at ACU, Zach, that's picked to finish, be right in the middle of the pack in the WAC this season, and that's a great spot. You can only impress with this year, with what you've got on the floor, and I think in the 2 games that we've seen from Moody Coliseum, it's an Abilene Christian team that would love to cause some havoc and stir some things up, and if you parallel that with a team that plays really well and protects their home court, you can do just that.
And conversely, with Rice moving up to a league that is a multi-bid league, you got this really tough WAC that's going to put one team in the NCAA tournament. So it's going to come down to getting yourself in the right seeding for that tournament in Vegas to be successful at the end of the year. And boy, is it a good league, that Western Athletic Conference.
Really good. You've got Grand Canyon. We get an offensive foul on that end of the floor. But you've got Grand Canyon that is already ranked as one of the top 25 mid-major teams in the country in Southern Utah, already receiving votes. So a really, really strong mid-major program.
Southern Utah representing the WAC last year in the NCAA tournament after winning the regular season and the tourney title. Troxel, nope, charge first. Her 3's not going to matter. Thornton called for the foul. She's got 4 of them. Foul trouble all night for number 1.
I think walking away from this, Zach, you can see if you're Rice, we can do the job on the road as well. We can do the job if you take some of these big pieces out of the equation. If you take Fisher out, you take Jackson out, you take Klazak out, you can have depth. And depth was one of the things we spoke about with Lindsay Edmonds. She said that she's happy to have 7, 8, 10, 11 bodies that she can rotate in and out. And with how physical and strong they play, that's going to be huge to have that depth develop.
And then you look at the numbers anyway. Malia Fisher has been in foul trouble all night. Still has a game-high 16. I mean, are you kidding? She's incredible.
Incredible. 7 for 8 from the field. And I think that's the big strong point. 6 rebounds, and she's had to battle foul trouble tonight, but has done a phenomenal job early on in the season having to deal with these things where you'd like to be in mid-season form.
15 seconds, no shot clock. What I like is this felt like a big game in November.
It did.
You got to love these early dates as Rice comes on the road. And this opening week of the season, and they get a road win to go to 2-0. Once again under Lindsay Edmonds. It's a final score of Rice 69 and Abilene Christian 58 tonight as the Owls take it by 11, and a terrific showing for this team on the road. And there was a lot of adversity that they had to overcome here tonight, and they come into Abilene and they win it by 11.
They did, and they were just able to kind of weather the storm for what we were able to see. They had to battle foul trouble. They had to battle a lot of different things. It was loud in here tonight with what you just talked about. This did not feel like an early November game. A couple of Texas teams going at it, but Rice able to get it done on the road.
Yeah, really terrific showing. It was fun to watch. Rice is going to be a player in the American, and Abilene Christian a tough slate in the WAC as well. We've had a lot of fun. This has been a presentation of the Western Athletic Conference on ESPN. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. Until next time, Zach Carlisle, Chris Jarrett, Daisy Strine, the whole crew led by Hutton Harris saying so long. Take care. Good night from Abilene, Texas. That's well done.
Bang.